Simply put, for my money, it's the greatest broadcaster of all time.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mike Keith is the reason that I chose this profession, and I'm always happy to have a few minutes to talk to the voice of the Titans. So last year when we did this, we talked about Red Gloves and Keith Bullock.
We did.
So I'm going to ask you this question about Chris Johnson. When you think about Chris Johnson, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first day I saw him in rookie minicamp. Normally, you can't tell much about someone in rookie minicamp. It's a bunch of guys that are not wearing pads and they look good, but they don't know how to do the job. And so when you first get this job, like I did in the late 90s, you go to rookie minicamp and you thought, oh, we've got 24 stars here. Well, it doesn't end up working that way when the veterans get there and they start to get tired and everything happens. Chris Johnson in rookie minicamp inside the bubble at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park ran a pass pattern. And I can't remember who the fellow rookie was that was covering him. Really turned out to be a really good player. Chris Johnson ran off and left this guy. It was so embarrassing. Everybody was embarrassed for the guy. And they marveled at Chris's speed. Then when the rest of the players came to training camp, they walked around talking about how fast Chris was. Veteran players don't ever talk about rookies. It's happened 2 times in the time that I've been doing this, and one of them was Chris Johnson. The other ended up being Jeffrey Simmons. But it doesn't happen. He was so sudden, and he was like the kid in the backyard that we all played with who was the fastest guy. But he was in the NFL doing that. I mean, it was just like, what is this? This can't be. And yet it was.
I remember that preseason game against the Rams.
The Rams
split the defense in the middle, and I looked at my brother and I said, "That's different."
That's different. Yeah, I mean, it was a totally different sort of speed, completely different gear than I've seen before or since. And the difference in Chris is when I was at the University of Tennessee, I covered the track program, and I have seen guys with world-class speed, and it's different. A guy who runs a 4.4 does not have world-class speed. A guy who runs 4.2 can. And Chris has the world-class speed, and yet he plays that fast too, which was just crazy. I haven't seen it before or since.
I mean, Chris Johnson has been, for my money, one of the most explosive players in the history of the league. So when you put all of that together, hit the numbers he was able to put up, the Pro Bowls, all of that, is it close to what you expected when he came into the league?
Yes. After seeing him, not the first day he was drafted. The day he was drafted, 24th, we didn't exactly know what he was. And I walked through the building and I saw Mike Heimerdinger, who is no longer with us, and he was the offensive coordinator. And I said, Dinger, is this guy a running back? And I can't repeat his response for fear children will be watching this. Children of all ages. I mean, he was incredulous that I could ask such a dumb question. He goes, oh yeah, he's a running back. I said, well, I said, okay, is he an every down back? He said he's an every down back. And when Dinger said that, he was someone about whom his opinion ranked so far up here because he ended up being right so many times. Mike Heimerdinger is a really good football coach and a really good evaluator of talent as well.
Well, it's no surprise that he ended up in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
We'll do it tonight.
Yep. Before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about next week. Training camp opens up for the Tennessee Titans. And for this exercise, I want to ask you, in ascending order, 3 of the most important storylines or players for the Titans going into training camp 2024.
Well, you're going to start with Will Levis because he's the quarterback and they built around him. So that's easy number 1. Most important position player in sport. We think we've got a guy. If he turns out to be a guy that can lead at that next level and can run an offense at a next level, our franchise is changed for the next 10 years. Because financially, we're not going to have to pay him market rate for a couple years, and we will be able to group and pool a whole nother sort of caliber of player at other positions to put around him. The second thing to me, and this will sound strange, I'm really interested in defensive line. I know what Big Jeff can do, but what about Tavondre Sweat? What about Sebastian Joseph Day? What about Colburn and Bohanna and some of the other guys that are returning? Will they help? I'm interested to see how that's going to break down. Losing Danico Autry was a big deal, and that one hurt. There's no other way to put it. Finally, I'm interested in the kickoff thing. What's going to happen with the new kickoff rule, covering kicks, returning kicks, how teams will choose to play it? I think there's going to be some real experimenting in training camp, trying to figure out who the returner is. Is it a big guy or is it a fast guy? Who the coverage guys are, who the blockers are. It's going to be fascinating to see.
It's going to be fascinating for everybody. But
I love
tonight, we're going to talk CJ2K, the man who's going into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. And I got to have the conversation with the man who called every single one of his games, voice of the Titans, Mike Keith. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, my friend. Great job.